Episode 1. Season 2 of High School Queen kicks off with intense drama as power struggles, hatred, and secrets continue to unravel inside the prestigious Cheongdam High School. The opening scene shows a girl begging Seon not to upload a certain video, but Seon, full of contempt, says she'll destroy everything. She dares the girl to crawl and beg. Moments later, Seon falls from the rooftop, hitting the ground hard. Hyun freezes in shock, screams her name, and rushes to the bloody body. She collapses, crying in despair. The police soon arrive, check the scene, and take Seon's body away. The next morning, students act like nothing happened. Seon's nameplate is immediately removed from her desk. A bouquet of white chrysanthemums is placed in her seat as a tribute. Meanwhile, Hyun becomes the prime suspect in Seon's death. An emergency school meeting is called. The chairman reassures everyone that this incident won't damage the school's reputation. Classes resume, but no one can focus. Someone shows up and calls Hyun out of the classroom. As she walks out, she hears whispers behind her back. She's exhausted, not just from the accusations, but from all the horrible rumors about her stripping in front of Duke Min. Those insults still haunt her. Her poor background and desperation for money follow her like a shadow. Hyun is called in by the police for questioning. Records show she was the last person Seon contacted. Hyun admits she came to the school late that night to meet Seon. The police grow suspicious. Was she being threatened? They begin pressing her with intense questions. They suggest she might have pushed Seon due to bullying. The entire interrogation is recorded on camera. When asked what kind of threats she received, Hyun hesitates and says nothing. Meanwhile, Junhee is at the nail salon gossiping with Jenna, pretending to be horrified by the murder. But Jenna knows Junhee too well and just gives her a disgusted look. On the school board side, the chairman is furious that his name was spelled wrong in a report. Worse yet, Seon's family insists she committed suicide. He's most worried about the fact that Hyun was involved in both recent suicides. She's starting to damage the school's reputation. Hyun returns home, drained, only to overhear her dad trying to sell the house to pay for a good lawyer. The next morning, a new boy shows up at school on a motorcycle. He scoffs at the thought of spending the next 3 years in this place. Back in class, Hyun remains the target. Someone hides bugs in her books. Even worse, a student cuts her wrist with a box cutter, leaving blood dripping from her hand. She rushes to the restroom to tend to the wound, but gets ambushed by another group of bullies. It feels like the entire school is trying to break her. Everyone sides with Seon, assuming Hyun is the killer. She tries to explain herself, but they just mock her, saying she probably wants to kill them too. One of them mocks her for being an orphan. That's the last straw. Hyun grabs a fire extinguisher to defend herself. Just then, the boy on the motorcycle walks by and sees everything. Hyun runs away from the mob, using a broom to block the door. But even outside, another group is waiting. Luckily, the mysterious boy steps in just in time and helps her escape. Once safe, Hyun finds out he's a new student named Sugyang. He turns out to be the younger brother of So-mang and says he's heard all about Hyun. Annoyed, she warns him not to mention bugs or special treatment again, then punches him for good measure. Sugyang? Totally unfazed, they go to a cafe to talk. Hyun learns that So-mang didn't go abroad to study. She got expelled. When Hyun apologizes, Sugyang starts acting playful, saying his arm still hurts from her punch. He leans in with a grin. And I still support you, you know. Meanwhile, Junhee tells Jenna she's about to get a surprise. Confused, Jenna gets a call from her dad. She meets him and sees a flower basket waiting. Her father warns her to behave properly. An article about their divorce is about to be published. Jenna begs him not to go through with it. She's heartbroken, saying her mom became depressed because of him. But her dad thinks they're both just blaming him. He yells, saying he didn't come here to negotiate. Jenna snaps and says she'll kill the mistress and her unborn child. That earns her a hard slap from her dad. He coldly reminds her that if she wants to inherit the company, she can't act like that. But Jenna believes he's the one behaving badly, and she storms off. That night, Hyun hears the news about Jenna. So Hyun stepped in to help call a cab, worried something might happen to her friend. On the way, Jenna kept calling her mom, but no one picked up. Sensing something was wrong, Hyun asked the driver to turn off the radio. It was all news about Jenna's family. When they arrived, her mom was still alive, just completely out of it, shocked by the divorce. Jenna hugged her and asked why she got divorced. Her mom just held her tight, too choked up to speak, then told her to hold on to what belongs to her. As Jenna walked out of the house, Hyen was still waiting outside despite the late hour. But Jenna didn't say a word. No thank you, nothing. Just got into the car and left, leaving Hyen standing there, stunned. The next morning, Jun-hee approached Jenna with a smug look, saying her mom had been admitted to a psychiatric hospital. She didn't forget to bring up how Jenna once humiliated her over Gonjin, Jenna's ex who ended up sleeping with someone else. Before Jenna could even react, she received a disciplinary notice for school violence. Turns out, that was the gift Jun-hee promised her. Jenna was left speechless, while Jun-hee grinned like she just won. Jenna then hinted that she knew who exposed that person's name, implying it was Hyen, causing her to turn pale. At that moment, Hyen was told her dad was mopping the floor in the staff room. She rushed there and saw her dad on his knees, apologizing. He was begging on her behalf because someone was threatening to sue Hyen for school violence. The woman pushing Hyen's head kept yelling, demanding her mother show up to explain. Hyen finally broke down, crying, "My mom is dead. Why do you keep dragging her into this?" Her homeroom teacher pulled her aside and told her to think about her future. So Hyen chose to kneel and apologize. The whole class, including Jenna, watched like it was entertainment. As she knelt, Hyen silently vowed that being poor and in need shouldn't be treated like a crime. Episode 2. Hyen realized that being broke meant she had to kneel just to survive. Meanwhile, a mysterious young man had just landed at the airport. He was picked up in a luxury car, clearly from a wealthy family. On the way, he read the news about Jenna's family and started calculating something. Back at school, everyone was buzzing about a new YouTuber called Black Dog, who was like an anonymous gossip channel, exposing celebrities' secrets. News broke that Jenna's dad had an affair with a contract English teacher. Jun-hee laughed, saying even Jenna knows how to feel shame. Meanwhile, the school chairman also heard about Black Dog and ordered his assistant to shut them down. Things got tense, and Do-eun showed up to talk to his uncle, the chairman. His uncle reassured him everything would be fine. But as soon as Do-eun left, the man tossed his handkerchief in the trash. Do-eun later met Jenna on the rooftop and offered to forgive her if she apologized for calling him dumb and easy to manipulate. Jenna also exposed that Hee-in had slept with Guzin, Junhee's boyfriend, but Do-eun refused to believe it. He trusted Hee-in would clear things up once she woke up. Though he still cared for Jenna, she walked away. After school, the rich kids were picked up in luxury cars, while Hyen walked home alone in the freezing cold. Back home, Jenna ran into her dad's mistress, who proudly showed off a baby shoe, implying she was pregnant with a son. The woman claimed she liked the view from upstairs. When Jenna ignored her, she called out and asked if she wanted to see her little brother's room. Turns out, she had taken over Jenna's mom's room, which made Jenna furious. The mistress said it was just because it had good sunlight. She flaunted her happy life, as the other woman, but Jenna stayed quiet and left. Once in her room, she broke down, threw a glass, struggled to breathe from the anger, and reached for her meds. That night, Hyen came home and saw her dad struggling with heavy lifting, reminding her of when he had to kneel and beg. Later, she got a message from him saying he made curry, and it turned out well. That only made her feel more sorry for him. She went to a cafe to vent to the barista, saying she was exhausted from being threatened with lawsuits. Just then, Sagyong entered and overheard. Hyen said she didn't want to give up or let others take what's hers. Sagyong advised her to join the Diamond 6 group, untouchable and above all rules. No one would dare mess with her. But how could someone like Hyen get in? Even if she did, she'd need immunity. So, she called Jenna to propose a deal. Jenna didn't want to go out, so Hyen showed up at her luxury villa, where Jenna was getting pampered. When Hyen asked for help joining the Diamond 6, Jenna was stunned. But Hyen said this was a deal, not a favor. She handed over Junhee's necklace in exchange for help, begging Jenna to save her. She had no other options. But Jenna said she only called Hyen over to make her realize how different their worlds were, then told her to leave. On her way out, Hyen ran into the mistress and overheard her getting threatened by someone. She hid and recorded it. The woman said she would make her baby the heir to Jenna's family. The next morning, a handsome guy arrived at school, and everyone was in awe. His name was Jin-guk, as shown on his nameplate. Hye-in approached Jenna again, asking if she'd consider the deal if she brought something truly valuable. Jenna, surprised Hye-in still hadn't given up, didn't answer. Suddenly, Jin-guk showed up and said Jenna met the standards, triggering her, as if he had the right. He even told her to dress better tomorrow, which left her shocked. On the way out, Jenna ran into Jun-hee, who kept acting nice but obviously threw shade. Jun-hee claimed that the mistress Min-hee was terrifying, but Jenna just smirked and said she knew who tried to kill Hye-in. Jun-hee laughed. Hye-in wasn't dead. Turns out, in the past, Jun-hee had sneaked into the hospital and tried to strangle Hye-in. But she insisted she was innocent, because Hye-in survived. Jenna warned her that one of them would end this. That night, Hye-in walked home and saw students from her old school, their uniforms sparking memories. At home, her lazy brother was loafing around, and her dad was passed out drunk at the table. She pulled out her old uniform and got haunted by past trauma. The school felt too big for someone like her. That night, she dreamed of being choked. Then, she listened to a secret recording from Min-hee and successfully exported the audio. The next day, Jenna came to see Hye-in. When she showed her the bloody necklace, Jenna scoffed, so Hye-in played the recording. That changed everything. Jenna smiled, seeing real value in this deal. That night, she had dinner with her dad and saw Jin-guk there too. He even pulled out a chair for her. Jin-guk's dad praised them as a great couple, which annoyed Jenna, who snapped at her dad and stormed out. Jin-guk followed, saying he hated being dragged into this marriage too. Apparently, their dads had arranged for them to get engaged. Jenna didn't like him, but he found her interesting. In the car, Jin-guk's dad mocked Jenna's father for being too soft due to love. That night, Jin-guk confidently told his mom he'd win this game. Meanwhile, Jun-hee complained to the chairman that Jenna hadn't been punished yet. She said her dad was caught in a scandal and pushed to get her expelled from Diamond 6. The chairman called Jenna about the discipline issue. The next morning, she showed up with Jun-hee's bloody necklace, declaring she was still queen of the school. After she left, the chairman asked about Seun. His assistant said the official story was suicide due to depression, and got the order to erase Hye-in's case too. Sa-jiang joined Diamond 6 as the youngest member. Jin-guk was also there but looked like a rebel. When the group was shocked by the new additions, Jenna announced one more member. Since the group could only have 6, Do-won, who hadn't contributed anything, was kicked out. His replacement? Hye-in.